This is Donald Trump. And I think that this was probably the most important moment of the entire evening. And nobody saw fit to comment on how this moment demonstrates, nobody other than Donald Trump, actually. I mean, he pointed out the absurdity of it by saying this proves we have a broken system. But nobody saw fit to point out that this was a broken system brought to us by the United States Supreme Court in 1976 with the Buckley case, 77 with the First National Bank versus Bellotti, 2010 Citizens United last year with McCutcheon. Nobody pointed that out. Here's Donald Trump.
And you said recently, quote, when you give, they do whatever the hell you want them to do.
You better believe it.
So what specifically did they do?
If I ask them, if I need them, most of the people on this stage I've given to, just so you understand, a lot of money. I will tell you that our system is broken. I give to many people. Before 2 months ago, I was a businessman. I give to everybody. When they call, I give. And you know what? When I need something from them 2 years later, 3 years later, I call them. They are there for me. And that's a broken system. So
that's a broken system. What is the old saying? From the mouths of children or the mouths of babes and village idiots. I mean, there's so anyway. This here's Donald Trump being very proud. This is clip 28. Donald Trump being very proud of the fact that he could game the system with bankruptcy. Nobody again on the stage pointed out that first of all that the average working person can't do that. Only tycoons can do that because he never declared personal bankruptcy. He declared 4 different corporate bankruptcies. So, nobody pointed that out. And perhaps more importantly, nobody pointed out that students who have student loan debts, there are literally hundreds of thousands of people who are having their Social Security garnished because they hit the age of 65 and they still have student loan debt. Or they co-signed more commonly. They co-signed for their children's student loan debt, and their kids can't get a job, and so now they're being held responsible by the bank, and their Social Security checks are being garnished. So anyhow, this is Donald Trump, clip 28, talking about bankruptcy.
Lenders to your company lost over $1 billion, and more than 1,100 people were laid off.
Well,
is that the way that you run the country?
Let me just tell you about the lenders. First of all, these lenders aren't babies. These are total killers. These are not the nice, sweet little people that you think, okay? You're living in a world of the make-believe, Chris. You want to know the truth. And I had the good sense to leave Atlantic City, which, by the way, Caesars just went bankrupt. Every company, Chris can tell you, every company virtually in Atlantic City went bankrupt. Every company. And let me just tell you, I had the good sense, and I've gotten a lot of credit in the financial pages. 7 years ago, I left Atlantic City before it totally cratered, and I made a lot of money in Atlantic City, and I'm very proud of it. I want to tell you that. Very, very proud of it.
So, it was all wrapped up in and embellished with, Trump going, I'm the big deal, blah, 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 blah. But, really basically what he was saying was, he not even basically what he's saying is he did it. But again, to the point of how out of touch Fox So-Called News, they're not out of touch, actually. How carefully Fox So-Called News was choreographing the evening to make sure that the real issues that Americans care about, whether our manufacturing comes back to the United States, whether our trade policies are going to change. TPP was not mentioned once. Whether there will be a world for our grandchildren. Climate change was not mentioned once. Whether the government should be the employer of last resort. How do we deal with unemployment? How do we deal with the tax code? How do we deal with massive inequality? None of these things were mentioned last night. And this is the reason why when Bernie Sanders shows up in a town, 10,000 people show up to hear him. It's why, tomorrow in Seattle and Sunday in Portland and Monday in Los Angeles, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be filling arenas, stadiums, because Bernie Sanders is talking about the real issues that Americans care about. And the other thing that's amazing to me is the number of people who have called this program over the last couple of months, and you've heard them saying, I have taken my Republican friends to a Bernie event. Just said, hey, let's not argue politics. Let's just go to the Bernie event and you can hear what Bernie says and then you tell me what you think. And afterwards, their Republican friends go, oh my God, I had no idea. I'm voting for this guy. Or I'm going to get involved in politics. Or why don't they discuss these issues on Fox News?